Come to me, my children. Follow the sound of my voice to receive thy blessings. Unburden yourself.
Ow! 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 Ow!
And welcome to the Church of Last Resort with the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. The Church of Last Resort, where your prayers are heard, your sins forgiven, and no matter what you believe, you won't believe this shit. And now, the Irreverent Reverend, the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. And this includes our new members who may be enjoying us for the first time, wherever you may be, wherever you want to be, because you may not be where you want to be, yet there you are. And here I are in my office, where it is Sunday, May 24th, the 489th day of the Sex Offender Administration? But who's counting? I know I am. I can't wait till that motherfucker gets out of there. But until he does, I'm just going to keep mocking him in whatever little ways I can. And reminding people what a piece of shit he is. That's right. It is 70 degrees and zero humidity here in the office, in the church. But on the other side of this wall, it is 55 degrees, 38% humidity, overcast, and our fourth straight day of rain. Fourth straight day of rain. Rain, moisture, precipitation. I had it up to here with the water, okay? Somebody, I know God must be a woman because the fucking water broke. And it just keeps on coming. So that means with all this broken water, there's got to be a baby Jesus in there somewhere coming out. Lord have mercy. And there's a 100% chance that if you have not been screwed by this administration, then you just don't know what it's like to be screwed. You don't identify as a screwed. That's it. No problem. I understand. Okay. Now, I know I'm a little bit distracted, and that's because I am. I'm trying to multitask because, see, I got a mouse over here, but I can't find the cursor on the screen, and I don't know where the cursor is. And I'm moving the mouse around just so I can hopefully see a white streak and then know that when I do that, oh, there it is. So it took me a while to find it because I don't even know how. I mean, the screen is only this big, right? It's only like a 20-inch screen. Okay, I should have like a 40-something so I can read the text from over here. And I have a 40-inch monitor. I don't like to brag, but I don't have room on the desk for it. I do need to brag. I need a bigger desk, but I don't have room for a bigger desk. I got the biggest desk that I could fit into that hole. And I'm sure some people have heard that before. Good morning, good day, sunshine, good day. Now, welcome to the Church of Last Resort. I am the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, PhD, DDS, ADHD, MCM, LIX. People have also called Racy Reverend, the pervert pastor, the vile vulgar vicar of vice, the sexy shepherd, the missionary man, the minister of mischief, the dirty deacon of doggy style, the freaky frisky friar, the ass man abbot, the colored cleric, the booty banging brother, the handsy high priest, the shameless shaman, Father Fistmas, the wicked I like to watch witness, the holy hoe, the divine dominating dominee, the depraved preacher, the tickle me theologian, the minister of making love, the clergy of cunning conversation while eating coochie, and that nasty N-word. That's right. Got to list all those names. That's all those names. The point is that I come by many names and by many methods, but do not come easy. You know, I think I'm going to rearrange those words so they rhyme and send them to somebody who just happens to make beautiful music for the Reverend today. I'm going to do my best to try to get in here because I was not prepared for it, and I'd like to have a video to go with it, but I don't. So I'm going to, I have videos of myself doing all kinds of stuff, and I'm gonna like overdub it, and it'll be ready like next Sunday. Yes, indeed. So, brothers and sisters, I do have the music, and I'm going to play the music. I got one of the songs loaded up to play a little bit later, but right now, let us begin in the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor. Can I get a funk? Yeah. That's right. Good morning, Sister Ann and brother Kev. Brother Kev gave my heart a huge lift today. Well, actually, I don't know when he actually sent the lift, but I didn't see the lift until this morning. And when I saw the lift, I was like, this lifted my spirit so much. I'm not gonna lie to you. My the opening church thing that I got here was not written for church. Okay, it's a sample. It's an excerpt of something else that I wrote for something else. Okay, but I was like, I need some church music, and I did that. But this thing that he did for the church, Brother Kev, I swear, he is touched me right here. Here. Damn it, I lost the spot where he touched me. That's okay. I'll show you on the doll. I will get the doll out and show you where it touched me. That's what we'll do, like you see on Law and Order. That's right. Fuck yes, yes indeed. Now, it is time for our opening prayers, and our opening prayers are sponsored by G.D. Fenderson, Certified Forensic Humorist. And if you need an opening that needs to be filled by a comedian or humorist, G.D. Fenderson has your opening needs. He has what it takes to fill that opening. That's right. So if you or someone you know, okay, just check him out on gigsalad.com, G.D. Fenderson. Yeah. Or just go to his website, sogdfunny.com, and you can book them there too. Yada. Okay. If you or someone you know is in need of a prayer by the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, please send your request for a prayer, healing, forgiveness, any such request to me at Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll with an E. Okay, that's not how it goes. That's not how it goes. Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll at gmail.com. Okay. Please remember to spell roll with an E on the end. Otherwise, that other jelly roll, any other jelly roll, some other jelly roll may wind up with your request, and you do not want, need, have to have, shouldn't have, or not have that in any way, because it'll be hurting you. It won't be blessing you. Now, for our disclaimer, while all prayers, and that be all prayers are heard, not all prayers are answered when we want them to be. Some loopholes and restrictions may apply. That's right. And I know all prayers are answered because tomorrow's Memorial Day, and some of those people would not be celebrating Memorial Day if their prayers were answered, because they say like, dear Lord, please bring my husband home safe. Dear Lord, please bring my wife home safe. Dear Lord, please bring my kids home safe. Dear Lord, please bring my parents home safe. And guess what? They're part of the Memorial Day celebration. That's right. So we know not all prayers are heard. We know they're not all answered. He heard them, but it was just like this morning. I was like, shit, I'm just getting this song. I ain't got enough time to process it. And that's sometimes what happens. They go like this. It's like the Lord is sitting up there. He goes like, hey, Gabriel, where are the prayers? And Gabriel comes rushing in. I'm sorry, boss. I got the prayers right here. I was a little bit late. I had to catch the bus this morning. Lord have mercy. And the Lord says, Gabriel, we got to get you a car. What happened to your car? I thought you had a car, Gabriel. And Gabriel says, oh, Lord, no, I did have a car, but I had to let it to my brother Steph, who had to go fetch some stuff. Lord have mercy. Okay, Gabriel, don't worry about it. What are these? Let's see the prayers. Maybe we can do. Oh shit! These prayers are for people who needed to be home safe. Me, damn it! Send them some thoughts and prayers, will you? Thanks, Gabriel. So, I don't know what just happened there. I was just showing you what it's like in heaven. I've been there a few times, twice. I don't know if I'll be invited back, is what I'm saying. But at least I was invited once. But it's nice just to be nominated. That's what I'm saying. Yes, it's nice just to be nominated. I may not make it into heaven, but it's nice, just nice. Pop. It's I may not make it into heaven, but it's nice just to be nominated. There we go. All right. Now that we got through that, please bow your heads unless you're driving your car or your significant other. And if that is the case, just close your eyes and let Jesus do the driving while we pray. That's right. But do not let go of the wheel. I said, do not let go of the wheel. Jesus has full control. That's right. Full control, not just the steering, but the gas and the brake as well. Otherwise, you'll hit something and you'll ass well. Dear Lord, please bless Brother Dennis Rush. Dennis Rush, former child star, best known for his roles as a young Creighton Cheney in Man of a Thousand Faces, and as Opie's pal Howie on the Andy Griffin Show, has died. He was 74. His cause of death is leukemia, as opposed to Luke Cage or Luke and Laura. Leukemia is a little more serious than Luke and Laura, or more serious than Luke Cage, but less addictive than Luke and Laura. And so, if you're old enough to remember Luke and Laura, your obituary may be coming up soon. That's right. All right, now, Rush also, not the band, the guy, the actor, Dennis Rush also showed up from 1960 to 62 on 7 episodes of Wagon Train, and from 1962 to 1963 on 3 episodes of Laramie. Both were Westerns, real Westerns with fake Indians, not one of those spaghetti Westerns with Italian Indians. That's right. The freckle-faced Rush made his on-screen acting debut as Creighton Cheney, age 4, Man of a Thousand Faces. Okay, now, those of you who do not know who Creighton Cheney is, or was, because he's not with us anymore, Creighton Cheney eventually took the name Lon Chaney Jr. That's right. And so it was like a biography, kind of. A Hollywood sensationalized version of a biography. Now, out of curiosity, because there was already a Lon Chaney in SAG, and then he came along and he was Lon Chaney Jr. at SAG. So, out of curiosity, if I became, let's say, a SAG member, could I call myself Lon Chaney III? I mean, they're just made up names, right? Or could I call myself Sammy Davis III? I mean, it's not being used. No one's going to confuse me with Sammy Davis Jr. I call myself Sammy Davis III. I'm just curious. I'm going to find out if I ever get a SAGgy member card. The youngster appeared as Howie Pruitt on CBS, The Andy Griffin Show, in 8 episodes over 3 seasons from 1963 to 65. In the 1964 episode called Barney's Physical, Rush ad-libbed a line during rehearsal about Don Knotts' character, quote, hanging himself in the closet, close quote. Couldn't make that line today, but that line was that line back then in 64, okay? Yeah, he said he's in the closet hanging himself in the closet. Well, that's better than him finding out how hung Don Knotts was in the closet. Barney Fife, what I'm saying is Barney Fife had a 5th limb. That's right. Rest in peace, Dennis. Acting was in your blood. Or was that leukemia? Can I get a saggy member name? Good morning, Sister Ann. Yes, indeed. Buck, yeah. Dear Lord, Please bless Brother Dennis Lockery. Dennis Lockery, Dr. Hook frontman, has died. He was 76. His cause of death was kidney disease. Now, that's the second dentist this week. That's the second dentist today. There appears to be a rush on dentists. I kidney you not. Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay. Somebody wrote. Okay, I got you. Go to the Reverend on YouTube to keep watching. That's right. Don't something must have happened. Okay. The gifted singer led the legendary 1970s group alongside Ray Sawyer, who died in 2019. The band, originally called Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show until 1975, achieved a widespread fame with timeless hits such as When You're in Love with a Beautiful Woman, Sharing the Night Together, and Sylvia's Mother. By far their most famous hit was a cover of the Rolling Stone. Oddly enough, Dr. Hook did not really make the cover of the Rolling Stone. Now I'm going to prove it. I'm going to put this image right here. I'm going to add this image right there. And you can look at that image right there while I talk about this. Because you see, if you know what the regular Rolling Stone cover looked like when a band was on it, it was a photograph, right? The regular Rolling Stone covers are photographs. This was a caricature. Did not show all 7 members. It only showed 3 members of the band. And it does not contain the band's name. It refers to them as, what's their name? So they didn't, this is like the March 29th, 1973 issue. Okay, and it's the only time that their images appeared on the Rolling Stone. But it's not, it's caricatures. So yeah, in a way, they kept, they made a mockery out of Lockery by doing this. So not a real mockery. At least look, if I had a caricature on Rolling Stone of my face, I'd be excited. Okay, I'm just saying I can delete. I can get moved. Where is it? Yeah, I can remove that picture now. Yes, indeed, because I just want y'all to know I wasn't making that up. They technically were not on the cover of the Rolling Stone. Now, in 2014, the band reached number 11 on the top 40 chart with Timeless, a 40-track collection of chart hits, love songs, and lesser-known gems from their extensive repertoire. And by lesser-known gems, I mean most of their music. During a career spanning nearly 6 decades, 60 years, Lockery recorded more than 18 albums. He kept touring into his 60s. Quitter. Real rockers rock until they're as old as rocks, or at least old as stones. His song, A Couple More Years, was covered by Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, and Helen Reddy, not at the same time. And I don't even think they were done in the same decade, but yeah, it was covered by those 3 artists. And Olivia Newton-John covered their song, You Ain't Got the Right. That's right. Rest in peace, Dennis. I will send you 5 copies. I will send 5 copies to your mama. Can I get a medicine show? I'll send her 5 copies of this video right here. Dear Lord, please confirm that Mark Furman is dead. Mark Furman, former LAPD detective, has died. He was 74. His cause of death was throat cancer, just like he was a cancer to the LAPD. But the LAPD is still here trying to recover from that cancer. Oh, they were crooked long before that. Everybody knew it, but he made it official. He put it out there for everyone to see and got a murderer off in the process. That's right. Furman gained notoriety as one of the first detectives to investigate the 1994 murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. He discovered a bloody glove at Simpson's home, but his credibility was severely damaged during the trial when the defense revealed recordings of him using racial slurs, contradicting his testimony. This revelation significantly impacted the prosecution's case against Simpson, who was acquitted in 1995. Like the poem says, if the cop's a dick, you must acquit. Look, we all know OJ did it, but thanks to Mark Furman, or is it Fuhrer, man? We didn't get to punish him for it. Rest in peace, Mark, is what I would say to another Mark. But you set back racist cops 10 years. Can I get a fuck yeah? Fuck yeah! I should have warned you. So you'd have your finger on the button instead of in your belly button. I apologize. Dear Lord, please bless Brother Barney Frank. Barney Frank, the longtime Democratic congressman and leading liberal who brought new visibility to gay rights and crafted the most significant reforms to the financial system in a generation, has died. He was 86. His cause of death, congestive heart failure. I had a cat that had that. We had to put the cat down. I don't know how he lived so long with it, but okay, that's beside the point. I'm just saying, having put a cat down, I know what it's like to lose a child. Barney Frank was known for his sharp tongue, not a gay joke, his knack for constituent services, not a gay joke, and was so good at his job that people have forgotten about his prostitute scandal, not a gay joke. That's good pot licking. Sorry, good politicking. Yeah, good politicking. He is probably best known for the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. Dodd-Frank is a U.S. federal law enacted in 2010 to prevent financial crises, protect consumers, and regulate large financial institutions. Now, Barney, as we called him at dinner, he was always saying, he's like I said, I mentioned he had like a quick wit, a sharp tongue. I just have two quotes of his that I think of when I think of him. The first quote is, the moral majority supports legislators who oppose abortions, but also oppose child nutrition and daycare. From their perspective, life begins at conception and ends at birth. Barney Frank also said, I'm used to being in the minority. I'm a left-handed take 5. Quote, I'm used to being in the minority. I'm a left-handed gay Jew. I've never felt automatically a member of any majority, close quote. Rest in peace, Barney. You ruffled enough feathers to keep Lindsey Graham and Boas for a lifetime. Can I get a gay joke here? Dear Lord, please bless Brother Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch, NASCAR legend, has died. He was 41. His cause of death was complications caused from pneumonia, which turned into sepsis. It was a step brother, but they went through transition. Busch's death took the racing community by surprise. Less than a week earlier, he dominated the NASCAR Truck Series race at Dover Motor Speedway. After climbing out of his truck, Busch explained why victories in the later stages of his career remained just as sweet as all the others. Quote, because you never know when the last one is. Close quote. Well, now we know that was the last one. Busch's career in NASCAR spanned 22 years, dating back to his Cup debut in 2004. From there, Busch built a resume that stands up to even the most impressive in the history of the sport. Busch tallied 63 Cup Series victories, which ranks 9th all time, and he won championships in 2015 and 2019. Between NASCAR's 3 National Touring Series, Busch compiled 234 wins, which are the most by any driver in history. That's impressive, and it would be even more impressive if NASCAR was a sport. Rest in peace, Kyle. May your last pit stop be your best. Can I get a right turn? I was in a left turn. Sorry. And finally, Lord, please bless the entire behind-the-scenes staff at Mind Dog TV. They are truly doing your work, helping to spread your word throughout the wordosphere. They could be anywhere today, but they are here, wishing they were anywhere today, and that ought to count for something. MindDogTV.com, the place to go to get your Church of Last Resort gear and all of your Coffee with the Dog gear, like the stuff that I have over here. That's not gear. What's that? Well, look, I do. I have a Mind Dog TV mug. Look at that, right there. It's empty because this is a coffee mug. I don't drink coffee. Now, if it was a liquor mug, I might have something in it. Now, let's have the moment that all of my little drunks have been waiting for. That's right. Now, it's time for, let's have a bump. Let's have a little bump for the Lord. That's right. I say little bump. Little is relative, right? Guys know what I'm talking about. Ladies, you too, you know what I'm talking about. Little is relative. Let's have a little bump for the Lord. Brought to you by Bump in a Bottle. Straight from our vineyards to your innards. That's right. Wine, just like Jesus used to make. 2026. Very good year for wine and for whining about politics. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can tell wine is good. If you got to screw and unscrew to put it in your mouth, that's a good wine. That's a good wine. See, when you get wine with a cork, you can only pop the cork once. See? You pop the cork, that's it. Done. But with that, you can screw and unscrew all day long. That's right. Wine, just like Jesus used to make. Now, brothers and sisters, in the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor, can I get a fuck? Yeah. Fuck yeah! That's right. That's right. Now, brothers and sisters, before we go on with our little segment of looking for God in all the wrong places, I want to remind people out there who have a talent or a product or a book, movie, a play, a comedy routine, a DVD that you want to promote on our flagship program, Coffee with the Dog. Just check out this young lady here, Sister Curly Hair So Bright, because she's going to tell you how to get on the show. Sister Curly Hair.
Comedians, musicians, songwriters, filmmakers, authors, and podcasters. Coffee with the Dog is booking for the
Spring and summer.
now. Get free publicity and hone your interview skill in a fun and safe setting. Coffee with the Dog is a live radio, live stream podcast based in New York that airs daily Monday to Friday 9 a.m. to 11 o'clock in syndication on iHeartRadio, as well as video streaming platforms like YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, and many other platforms. Guests usually come on remotely via StreamYard, like Zoom but easier, although occasionally we do in-studio interviews. The morning show focuses mainly on comedians and musicians, and they have interviewed many top names and classic celebrities such as Robert Klein, Mike Binder, Eddie Brill, Doug Stanhope, Steve Byrne, Paul Provenza, Jeff Altman, and many, many others. For booking, go to minddogtv.com/booking.
Brothers and sisters, okay. Today's segment of looking for God in all the wrong places. We're gonna look at the lyrics. You Found Me by a band called the Fray. It is from their 2009 album called The Fray. Okay, now this album or this particular song, You Found Me, right? Is that, I forgot already what it was called. Yes, You Found Me. This song is about the juncture where desperation meets divine intervention. The phrase You Found Me emerges as a beacon of pop rock introspection, realized into the tumult of the late 2000s mainstream music. This song transcends its catchy melodicism to probe the depths of human vulnerability and the perennial quest for understanding in the wake of abandonment. Okay, that's a quote. That's a quote. I didn't write that. I quoted that. Okay, we're gonna start the lyrics like this. Well, we're gonna start the lyrics like this because this is how the lyrics go. If they went some other way, I'd start it some other way. All right, here we go. I found God on the corner of First and Amistad, where the West was all but one. Okay, we're going to start right there because many people have found God at many places. Moses found God on Mount Sinai in a burning bush. In 1 Kings 19:12, yes, chapter 19, verse 12, God is in a gentle breeze. Makes me feel fine. That's the summer breeze. People find God in prison. People find God in hallucinogenics. Okay, God wasn't doing the hallucinogenics that I know of. I know my mother found God at a funeral. Her firstborn child, it was that funeral. That's when my mother found Jesus. Is that it? No. Maybe. I had to ask her. I can't. She's dead. She's with him now. And the point is, different people say they found God at different places, different times, different ways. Our protagonist found God on a street corner, First and Amistad, to be specific. Now, the band that performed and wrote this is from Denver, Colorado. Usually when an artist writes a song about a particular place, if you look in their biography, you can find that place somehow, some way, like if you were born in New York and you talked about your favorite team, chances are you can find some remnants of like a Yankee team or a Mets team somewhere out there. So if you were raised someplace, even if you didn't say, I went to see my favorite team, even if you didn't say the name of the team, you said, I grew up in the Bronx and I went to see my favorite team, and that was the lyric. People would say, must have been the Yankees, or at least assume it was the Yankees or something from the Bronx, or blah, blah, blah. You understand? But you get the picture. So since he is from Denver, Colorado, and he's talking about a specific street corner, First and Amistad, I looked for that street because I wanted to know why he chose that name. I could not find a physical intersection by that name. Not just in Denver, anywhere in the U.S. That's right. We could not find any physical intersection by that name in the U.S. So if it's a made-up name, why those names? First Street is pretty common. It's the fourth most popular street name in the U.S., right behind 3rd Street. Yes, so First is right behind 3rd, 3rd is right behind 2nd, Main Street is 1st, and 1st is 4th. I don't know, 3rd base. Now, Amistad, or La Amistad, was a Spanish schooner cargo ship that became famous because in 1839 it was carrying slaves from Havana, Cuba to Puerto Principe, Cuba, when the slaves revolted and tried to get the navigator to take them back to Sierra Leone, Africa. So, in this song, is Amistad a metaphor for being delivered into slavery? Is it a metaphor for a revolt seeking freedom? Or did the protagonist just like the sound and he wanted Amistad to rhyme with God? See, and Amistad means friendship. So I do not know the actual answer to that yet. Maybe we'll get that answer later in the song. So to find out what it is a metaphor for. 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, the next line, where the West was all but one. Okay, we know that all but one means that something was nearly achieved. Nearly achieved. So now, we'll have that in the back of our minds as we continue with the rest of the song to see if those questions are answered. Next line. All alone, smoking his last cigarette. I said, where you been? He said, ask anything. Okay. Now, first of all, he says he. Okay, all alone, smoking his last cigarette. So we established that in his world, God's a he. Not like in my world, where God has to be a woman because the water broke for 4 fucking days and 4 fucking nights. And not a baby to show for it. So all alone, smoking his last cigarette. Now, is God all alone? Because God is, being God is like a lonely business. There's not like a lot of, even if you accept the pantheon, there's still a relatively few number of gods. You got like 8 billion people and like what, 12, 13, 40 gods? That's like billions of people per god, or hundreds of millions of people per god. Although some of the lesser gods don't even have any like followers. They're just like only gods because they got the job position, they got the title, and it's like you working for a corporation, God Incorporated, and they said, we don't have any gods from this area. We have to hire one we don't have any Antarctic gods. We don't. Well, there's no people down there, so we don't have to have a big god for Antarctica. Here, we're gonna have this god here, going to represent Antarctica. Okay, how many people does he have worshiping him? None. No people live in Antarctica, not on a permanent basis. So, but got a god, no people. So being a god is a lonely business. Like I said, per capita, not a lot of gods. But now, or is God alone because no one actually knew that was God? It's like God was dressed down, like Tom Hanks wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses, and people walk by and don't recognize it's Tom Hanks, and they're like, excuse me, sir, you're in my fucking way. And they don't realize they just said to a national treasure, get out my fucking way. So was God like incognito? Like there was a show called Preacher, where God was like, look like fucking Santa Claus or something. He's driving around on a Harley or something like that. And people didn't know that was God. So was that why God was alone? Or did people know it was God and they were afraid to approach him? Don't know why he was alone. Now, his last cigarette, because I can only think of 2 reasons. One, he literally just ran out. That's his last cigarette. Not that he's broke, he just forgot to buy more cigarettes. Now, if he was like my brother, he'd be like broke, and that was his last cigarette until he got some more money or could borrow another cigarette. Or was it his last cigarette because he quit smoking that day? He's like, this is it, my last cigarette, I'm quitting. That's it. I'm not doing any more cigarettes. What do you want? See? Now, he says right here, he says to God, when he walks up to God, he goes, I said, where you been? Now, since we know this is where he found God, where you been is not the way you've been like when you run into an old friend. He goes like, what you been up to? Where you been? This is more like, where you been? More like, I've been looking for you. Where you been? And God says, ask anything. Well, his man had already asked. His question was, where you been? And I don't think God wanted to answer that question because he goes, ask me anything, as if to say, ask me anything else. Or is there something else you want to know other than where I've been? And so he says, ask anything. So the man goes right back. He goes, where were you? Okay, I'm going back to the song lyrics. Where were you when everything was falling apart? All my days were spent by a telephone that never rang, and all I needed was a call that never came to the corner of First and Amistad. It goes right back to that thing. Now, so we're going to break this down. Says, where were you when everything was falling apart? So if everything is falling apart and he's at the corner of First and Amistad, obviously, Amistad is not symbolic or a metaphor for a revolt. It's more of a metaphor for being oppressed. Okay, everything's falling apart. So, and he's like, all my days were spent by a telephone that never rings. Like, I was waiting for you to answer. I was waiting for you to call. I was ready to pick up. I needed your help. I was ready to pick up. I was waiting for someone to. I needed to hear this call, and you didn't call me. Now, this is going to be a slightly awkward conversation between God and this guy, I guess, because almost every time when you hear these stories, it's almost like in defense of God, God says, what are you talking about? I sent help. I sent you help. I can't be everywhere. I sent you so-and-so to help you. You told him to fuck off because he banged your girl. It's not my fault he banged your girl. That's the closest person I can send to help you. And because he banged your girl, you got to be all touchy about it and go like, I don't want your fucking help. It's like, well, that was the help I had available to you. See? So a lot of times people go, why didn't God send me help? And then the answer is always, oh, are you sure he didn't send help and you just didn't refuse it? See? And I don't know the answer to that every time because this also seems like a little kind of cute by half or by a third, depending on if you're in a metric system or not. Because they wait to tell you after the fact that the God sent the help and what the help looked like, not to let you know in advance the help is coming so you know what to look for. Okay? If I'm stranded on the side of the road, and I call a friend and I say, Dale, do me a favor. My car broke down. I am like 7 blocks from your house. Can you come get me, bring me to your house so I can, be dry, warm, whatever? And Dale goes, I can't make it. I got dinner guests, but I'm going to send that guy named Terry over. Remember, I'll go, Terry, what the fuck is Terry doing at your house? You know we don't get along. He said, look, Terry just walked in. I can just send him right back out to get you. At least I know that when Terry pulls up to help me out, I go like, okay, I don't want this motherfucker, but I expect him so I can get in this car and go. I don't say, fuck off, I'm waiting for someone else. It's like, all right, let's go. Because I knew in advance that the help I wanted wasn't coming from where I wanted, but it was what I needed. See, don't be playing games and sending help that you know I'm going to refuse. Okay? If I'm drowning and I see Donald Trump with a rope, so it says, grab the rope, I'll pull you in. I'm like, motherfucker, you never helped a Negro in your life. I'm going to trust you with a rope in your hand to help me? Fuck it. I'll drown. Because nobody told me that was the only option I had. See? And I still might be ignorant and refuse it. The next line says, lost and insecure, you found me, lying on the floor, surrounded. Now, I don't know, it doesn't say what he was surrounded by. Let me see, let me look ahead. I'm just going to cheat just a little bit, just to see. Nope, does not say what he was surrounded by, okay? It's just lost and insecure, you found me, lying on the floor, surrounded. So maybe he was just surrounded by insecurities. Now, why was he on the floor? At this point, see, I try real hard to separate the videos from the music. Because unfortunately, to hear this music, I watch the video. And the video gives you a totally different impression, and it taints my interpretation sometimes, because they don't show him on the floor, I don't think. They show him behind the piano. But the next verse, or a verse or two, they show someone else on the floor who's not him. And I think that's what the song is all about. That's the real pain. That was this trigger. It's like, yeah, I was waiting for you all my life, but now I've gone through some shit and I can't take any more. I'll get to that later. I'll explain that a little bit later too. So it says, lost and insecure, you found me, lying on the floor, surrounded. Now, again, doesn't say we're surrounded by, and I'm trying real hard not to think about the video, because the video gives me a different impression of what he's surrounded by. And I don't think that when he wrote this song, that's what he was surrounded by. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next verse. I said the next thing says, why'd you have to wait? Where were you? Just a little late. You found me. Okay, now, it's like saying it's about fucking time. It's about time you got here. But where were you? Okay, you could have made a bigger difference if you got here earlier. And we don't know why, by what early, like what took him so long. It's like, because he says my whole life. So did he need God really badly when he was 5 years old, 6 years old? And now that he's in his 20s, God, finally he found God. And it's like, so why did I have to go through those 15 years? Where were you for like 15 years? Where? You finally found me. And it's like, I'm on the floor, surrounded. Now you find me. Now, some people, like my mother, would say, baby, the good Lord don't give you more than you can handle. And I say bullshit on that. And so if he were to say that, and my mother answered, my mother would say, because God knew that you could handle those first 15 years, you just need help right now. Right now is when you really needed it. That's what my mother would say. And that's what I say to my mother. To her face, I say, that's right. But that's what a lot of people say. They wash it off and say, well, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. I maintain from my school of thought that God doesn't give you anything, handle or not. That sometimes shit just happens, and it's not God giving it to you or allowing it to happen. It's like, it's like you're a parent in a house. You got kids. Let's say you have 5 kids in the house. You're not keeping track of all 5 kids. You're like, you got shit to do that's not kid related, okay? You may have to be cleaning. You may have to be doing the dishes. You may have to be walking the dog or cleaning dog poop off the rug because one of the fucking kids had to have a puppy and they're too young to clean the shit off the rug. So you're cleaning up behind their dog and you're listening for the kids, okay? And then you hear the scream, ah, ma, dad. Well, by the time they scream, that means whatever it is they're screaming about has already happened. You couldn't have prevented it. You were busy with the dog shit. You couldn't have prevented it. Now it's like, okay, do you go right away or do you listen? Can the kids handle it? Let's see. Do you use your daredevil hearing? or you're buying an ear, and you listen for those little telltale signs. Are the kids going to solve it themselves, or do you have to drop the shit and go and intervene? And is that what's happening in heaven? Is God like going, are they going to sort out this Iran mess themselves, or do I have to intervene? Okay, the next verse says, in the end, everyone ends up alone, losing her, the only one who's ever known who I am, who I'm not, and who I want to be. No way to know how long she will be next to me. Okay, now because I saw the video, it looks like a drug overdose thing. Like, she's passed out, the ambulance comes and they put her on the stretcher and they haul her away. And she's not dead because they didn't cover her face. So there's still life in her. Okay. So, and he goes, well, in the end, we're going to wind up alone anyway. And he's just losing her. So it makes you think that she's dead because he's lost her. Or maybe he lost her because he gave her bad drugs and she's never going to trust him again. Don't know. Again, it's the video. You can't go by the video. You're trying to go by the words here. It's very seldom that the video came first and then they put the words around it. It's more likely they got the words first, the song first, someone goes, let's make a video. And then they go, okay, what can this mean? And then they say, oh, you know something? I don't know what it means, but I got this great image I want to use. Okay. So in the end, everyone ends up alone. So losing her is the trigger point. Okay, he goes like, where were you my whole life? But this is when he really needed him. This is the part where he's like, what he's really pissed off about. Okay, he didn't want to lose her. Okay, this is why he's like, where you been? Now it's possible that had God been there earlier in his life, that he would not have been in this situation, and she would not have been in this situation, and he would not be losing her. They'd still be together. But it's also possible that if they didn't have those turbulent times, that they would not have leaned on each other to find each other, so that he would have had this joy, momentary as it was, to begin with. I don't know the answer to that. I'm just providing the same questions that I provide to my parishioners. Like, I don't know. Did you need to suffer in order for you to have that part of your mind open to this opportunity? Don't know. Then it goes back to lost and insecure. You found me, lying on the floor, surrounded. Why'd you have to wait? Where were you? Just a little late. You found me. Okay, just reiterating what he went through earlier, and I'm not going to re-litigate that, okay? But the next line, early morning, the city breaks. But I've been calling for years and years and years and years. And you never left me no messages. You never sent me no letters. You got some kind of nerve taking all I want. All right. Now, I'm going to start in the middle of this first. There's a little device in here like double negative. Okay. When you use a double negative, that asserts the positive. So he says, you never left me no messages, which means you left me messages. You never sent me no letters, which means he was sent letters. Remember earlier when I was talking about the help that you didn't know was coming because it's not the form that you wanted? You asked for help and you didn't, because you was not expecting that help to come in that shape or size. You're like, what the fuck is that? Get out of here. I'm waiting for something else. Okay, so in here, he goes like, you never sent me no messages. You never left me no messages. But because he used the double negative, says, yeah, there were messages sent. And apparently he's now realizing it, maybe. And he's just saying, I didn't see a message. But early morning, the city breaks. So this is the day after. Okay? The day after he lost her. Okay? And he's still pissed. And he's like, where were you for years and years and years? You got some kind of nerve taking all I want. So now that he's saying that God didn't help, he's blaming God for the loss that he has. All I want was her. She knew who I was. She accepted me for who I was. You know this, and now she's gone. You took her. No, see, again, we don't know what caused it. If it was a drug overdose, it's not like God gave her the drugs, okay? And it wasn't something homegrown. Like God made pot. God didn't make opium. Well, okay, yeah, poppy, but he didn't make opium, made poppy. We made the opium. Okay. Then it goes back to lost and insecure. You found me. You found me. Lying on the floor. Where were you? Where were you? Lost and insecure, you found me. You found me lying on the floor, surrounded. Why'd you have to wait? Where were you? Where were you? Just a little late. You found me. You found me. Why'd you have to wait to find me? To find me. That's how that song ends. Why'd you have to wait to find me? Now, again, with all the stuff that was happening before, it's like he didn't set out to find God until that moment when she was gone. Now, is it possible that in his mind, he wasn't really looking for God, he was just looking for comfort. And once he found that comfort in her, he stopped looking for God. Okay? He found what he was looking for, comfort. He didn't care where it came from. He didn't care if it came from God or from that woman or from the drugs. He wanted the comfort. He wanted the pain to stop or to at least make sense. And so the pain started to make sense with her. Now she's gone. Pain doesn't make sense anymore. So he's blaming God. Now, I'm not saying God is innocent in all this. I'm not saying God is guilty in all this. I'll just give you the lyrics and what I think they mean. Okay? So that be that. Now, I had I was excited that I received a song that Brother Kevin wrote, and I'm told by the attorneys that we can't play it unless there's a copyright in hand, or there's legalities here. But what I can do, I'm going to put together like a little video, and I'm going to put it on my Facebook page so that nobody gets hit with anything, that don't want to cause any problems. But I really did like the song. It's really cute. It's really neat. And so we're going to put together a little video, and I'll put it on my Facebook page and on my YouTube page, and there we'll do it that way. So thank you, Brother Kev. I appreciate it. I really enjoyed the music. I listened to both songs, and they're both fun. They're both fun, really fun. Now, before I close, I do want to thank people for checking out my YouTube page and my Facebook page, and any new subscribers I've gotten to the Facebook page. I appreciate. There were no new ones to the YouTube page. That's still holding steady. As a matter of fact, I picked up one and lost one. That's right. So, but I do want to thank all of you who come to this church, for lack of a better word, every Sunday, and hopefully you have a good time, and you have your friends and your grandchildren having a good bump with the Lord. That means a lot to me. Yes, indeed. Now, on behalf of the Church of Last Resort and the entire Royal family, my wife Amona, my kids. Oh, before I did, my wife Amona she's traveling with GD's wife Carol. They went on another excursion, and I can prove it. Watch this. Lord have mercy. See, I couldn't do that voice if Mona were here, because she slapped me aside the head. She does not like it when I do that voice. See, and that's how I can prove that she's not here. I could do that. You didn't hear me do it any other Sunday, did you? Just today, because she's not here. So, yeah, they're in Canada. No, they're in Maine. they'll be in Canada on Tuesday or Wednesday, one of those 2 days. Tuesday or Wednesday, they'll be in Canada. Right now, they're in Maine. They went to a concert last night. Was it Bob Dylan's son? Is that Jake Dylan? Was it the Wallflowers? I think they went to see the Wallflowers last night in Maine. So that I haven't talked to Amona yet. I haven't talked to her yet. I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to Facebook with her a little bit later, around 11. So hopefully my wife will return back to me. Otherwise, I'll be stuck taking care of all these fucking animals while she's gone. I don't want that. So on behalf of the Church of Last Resort, the entire Roll family, my wife Amona, my kids Cinnamon and Jelly Jr., who don't do a damn thing to help around the house, because they're grown. They're grown. They got lives of their own. Our cat Tootsie, the queen of the castle. Our dog stopped dropping. I wish you safe travels, and I hope you will join us next week at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, Eastern Orthodox Time on My Dog TV and everywhere that our word is heard. In the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor, can I get a fuck? Yeah.
Fuck yeah!